Yo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV today. You know, over the course of the last decade, the wrestling business has changed dramatically. I mean, pretty drastically when you think about it. And we are going to be taking a look at some of the wrestlers who were instrumental in bringing forth that change in the industry from where it was at the start of the decade to where we currently find ourselves here and right now. These particular individuals would impact professional wrestling so much that it changed the game forever, earning them the distinction of being named one of the most important wrestlers of the decade. And we're going to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's most important wrestlers of the decade end of the year special, part number 1. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
We're kicking this one off with a pretty obvious choice. Cody Rhodes has got to be considered one of the most important wrestlers of the last decade. When you think about 10 years ago, Cody Rhodes was a WWE superstar, just one of the many on the roster. He was finishing up a pretty decent run with his legacy cohorts and Randy Orton, which was one of my favorite things going on back in the day. I thought it was a fantastic faction, and seemed to be headed towards a pretty huge singles run. He was even given the Intercontinental Championship at one point, but he was kind of struggling with an identity crisis. He went from being dashing Cody Rhodes to completely being delusional, wearing that ridiculous clear mask, hiding these scars that only Cody Rhodes apparently was seeing, which was interesting and it was different, and he was trying to get over, but it wasn't really going anywhere. Until around 2014, after Goldust had returned to the WWE, and we would see Cody Rhodes descend into madness just a little bit and ended up coming out the other side covered in silver and being called Stardust. It was a little offshoot of Goldust. He was like Goldust's little sidekick, and he was really a lot crazier and a lot more wild than Goldust ever could have been, if you could even believe that, because Goldust was pretty wacky for his time. But Stardust definitely gave him a run for his money. It also gave Cody Rhodes a character that was over with the fans tremendously. A character that was over with The Office tremendously. It was one of Vince McMahon's new favorite things. I love that Stardust thing. But unfortunately, it wasn't tremendously over with the man in the paint. Cody Rhodes, while he was apparently having a great time as Stardust, wanted to go past doing that. He wanted to establish his identity on his own, I guess, as being Cody Rhodes. The recent passing of his father at that time probably initiated some of these things he wanted to change in his character. He wanted to continue to evolve and grow and be different. But Vince McMahon wasn't having it. He liked Stardust. Stardust was selling merch. He was easy to market. He was doing some great things. And Vince was happy with it, and he didn't want him to change the course. And that decision would prove to be one that would send shockwaves throughout professional wrestling that we would not even know were coming. It seemed uneventful at the time. Cody Rhodes leaves the WWE. And it was all based off of this difference in creative and the direction they wanted to go with Cody. And this was thought to be wild at the time, man. Nobody thought Cody Rhodes was going to make a dime on the indies. The indie scene was there, Ring of Honor has always been there, New Japan has been there, but nobody before Cody Rhodes at that time was seemingly having a lot of success on the independent circuit. But Cody Rhodes would take that mindset and what people believe to be the truth about the industry on the indies and just break that door right down, proving that you could be successful outside of the WWE. Successful meaning not in your catalog of your body of work, but in the amount of zeros in your bank account. It set a precedent that is a very dangerous one for the WWE, and it showed the entire locker room that you don't have to stay here if you don't want to be here, and you could make a living doing this other places and probably be happier doing so. This would lead Cody Rhodes to New Japan and his involvement with the Bullet Club, his friendship with the Elite, which all leads to Cody and his pals booking the first ever non-WWE huge venue pay-per-view in a venue that can seat more than 10,000 fans. They sold out the venue, All In went off without a hitch, and that was the groundwork being laid for what would eventually be known as AEW. Cody Rhodes' partnership with Tony Khan, his partnership with the Bucks and the rest of the Elite, all converged into this one moment that nobody would have ever seen coming. And we had the birth of a viable competitor. He got a TV deal for TNT to broadcast his show before they even knew what the show was going to be. The impact of all of the things that Cody Rhodes has done since then will be felt for years to come. He gave wrestlers a new place to go. He showed them the way. You can leave and make money, and now you can come and play with me and my friends on this other show. For the first time in decades, we have a viable number 2. Like I said, New Japan was always there, of course, and we had Impact around for a while. TNA was trying to be number 2, but it never really got itself to prominence. Nowhere near how AEW is kicking off right on network television, on cable television rather, in a primetime spot, Wednesday night, opposite NXT, bringing a whole new war to the world of professional wrestling. These things could have never been thought possible when you look back 10 years ago at the career and the trajectory and the path that it would follow of Cody Rhodes. Who could have called this? Nobody. And the industry has been forever changed. He laid the groundwork for guys like Moxley to be comfortable with the fact of leaving the WWE. Even more recently, guys like Luke Harper and many countless superstars that are asking for their release because they don't feel handcuffed by belonging to the only show in town, because they're not anymore. It's an amazing accomplishment. It's something that you can't go understated. You can't look at Cody Rhodes in 2019 going into 2020 and not consider everything that he has done to earn him the right to be called one of the most important people, most important wrestlers specifically, over the course of the last decade. It's an amazing feat. And I know he didn't do it single-handedly. I'm not saying that his presence alone is what got everything where it is, but you have to believe that without Cody Rhodes being involved with New Japan and the Elite and the Bucks and everything, nothing ever gets to where it gets. Cody Rhodes was a big name, whether you believe it or not. He's got a legacy of his own, steep roots in professional wrestling. He's giving us an alternative where he's promising to listen to his fans, and sure, there's been some speed bumps along the way. AEW's launch has been pretty damn good. I mean, it hasn't been perfect, but nothing is expected to be perfect. At least I don't expect everything to be perfect. But AEW is real. And Cody is the one leading the charge. For the first time in a long time, we have somewhere to go to enjoy wrestling, at least here in the States. It's very hard for us on this end at the time to be getting New Japan stuff, and Ring of Honor is never really on TV at a time when you're alive to be watching TV, especially back 10 years ago. So to have another place to go where they're doing things right, it's got a WCW vibe to it just from being on TNT. He brought in guys like Chris Jericho, Tony Schiavone, Jim Ross. You believe that it's the number 2. It feels bigger than everything else, except for the WWE, but they might get there. We have a possibility of a promotion that could actually outshine the so-called best and biggest, baddest company in the business. And that's great. That's great for the industry. It's great for the wrestlers. It's great for creative people who don't want to just go to the WWE. And it may drive the WWE to get better itself, and that's all we want is good wrestling. We don't want to sit here bringing the hammer down on everything all the time. I want to enjoy wrestling again. And having competition only breeds that. And Cody Rhodes brought all of that to the table. The story arc of his career over the last 10 years is unprecedented. This guy went from wrestling at WrestleMania to being unemployed to being the CEO of a rival promotion. That's insane. That's huge. You can't tell me that it's not important. And its importance will continue to grow as AEW continues to grow because it's in its infancy right now, and it kicked off in a large way. So imagine where AEW, if they are careful with their stuff and they do things right, where they could possibly be 5 years from now or at the end of the next decade to come. They could very easily become number one as long as they continue to correct some of the errors that they are learning in their first year and learn from them and grow and make their show better and listen to their fans. The sky's the limit for Cody Rhodes and AEW. One of the most important wrestlers of the decade by far. He's earned it, and you can't argue that at all. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up. You could also leave a round of applause. You see that button down there that says applause? You can hit that and see what that does. And, you know, it's not necessary, and it's much appreciated if you do, but you can go and do that to support the show. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on all of your notifications so that you will be here to see who comes next on this list, and you will also be notified whenever one of the best wrestling review shows around, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, brings down the hammer on Raw, AEW, NXT, and SmackDown. 2020, we're getting back to business in a big way. We're kind of laxing at the end of the year, taking a little bit of a vacay, a little bit of a break here and there, spending time with the family, which is always important for all of you guys to do. So don't forget to do all of that. Leave a comment down in the comment section below if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, which I don't know how you could possibly disagree with me. You would be crazy to do so. I have given you guys all of the evidence you need to know that just saying with fact that Cody Rhodes is one of the most important wrestlers of the last 10 years. So don't forget to do all that. Share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if you think they might be interested in this list and to see all of the other names to come as we try to fire these out as many as possible before we hit 2020. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue, the Snowball. The most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you guys. And, you know, full disclosure, before we sign off, this video I was going to do really cool shit, man. I was going to put up pictures, I was going to have a whole little slideshow reel, I was going to try to get quick clips as I have done sometimes before. But as some of you guys that have been following me and are members of the Sledgehead Army for a long time know, WWE's been doling out the copyright strikes, and I'm not giving them any reason to do so. So it's just going to be you and me. We're going to be discussing the top most important wrestlers of the decade as we close out 2019. So I'm sorry I can't give you all the bells and whistles that I wanted to, but you know, WWE are dicks right now, especially when it comes to YouTube content. As soon as I get one of them strikes removed, I will continue back to business as usual, because I'm not supposed to get in trouble for things such as that, but hey, we're going to go on no matter what. So that's why, you know, you might have clicked this expecting some sort of other kind of, you know, format to it, and there was one initially planned. But we're going to have to go forward this way until things start to cool down and the heat's not so much on us wrestling YouTubers. Thank you guys for indulging me. That, my friends, is going to do it, and we are out of here. And we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. And don't forget to pick up your t-shirts.